Hello friends, it is March 11th, 2021. I'm about 2 days out from actually leaving for my Appalachian Trail through hike, so I decided I'd throw all my gear on the floor and show what all I'm taking on this trip. Starting off with what I'm actually going to be toting. This is the Hyperlite mountain gear Southwest 3400. It's a completely waterproof backpack, weighs about 2 pounds, highly durable, and I've actually completely submerged this pack before, and everything on the inside stayed dry. Very simple design. Exterior pockets to keep things. One big central compartment. You can roll the top down to keep it from anything inside from getting wet. And it's got little hip belts on here as well. Highly recommended pack. Been using it for a few years now. To supplement my waterproof backpack, I'm also taking 3 of these Hyperlite mountain gear dry bags. One of them's got all my food in it right now, so I'm ready to roll. And I'm also keeping my clothes in one of these, and then my sleeping bag in the other. So it's basically like double bagging to keep everything good and dry, because I'll be facing a lot of rain. Moving on to my sleep system, my pad is the inflatable Thermarest Neel Gap X Lite. Great pad. It's a little bit on the loud side, but otherwise it's a great pad. It's very well insulated, keeps you warm, and also is pretty comfortable to actually lay on. My sleeping bag, I'm going with the Big Down Mummy bag. This is the Feathered Friends Hummingbird Ultralight 20 degree. Has worked very well in sub-freezing temperatures. I've been very pleased with the bag. Big fan of mummy bags versus quilts, just because they're a little bit warmer, not as drafty. But this one's performed extremely well. I've had it for about a year now, and I look forward to taking it with me. As far as tents go, I have the Z-Packs Duplex. Very lightweight tent. It's not a freestanding, so I use my trekking pole to set that thing up. Also wonderful. The weight makes it pretty much entirely worth it. You have to be careful with condensation, but otherwise, because single wall tent. But been very pleased with it. I've had this for about 2 years now. And this is just the Thermarest Z seat, which is just for ground pad, just to sit on in case I want to sit on the ground or on a log or something. It's not freezing and gives me a little bit of cushion. And the addition is the Ceta Summit Air Pillow. Big fan of this. This is an addition I made recently, and a pillow really is a game changer. It helps me sleep a lot, so big fan. Continuing with clothing, I have just 3 pairs of compression shorts. They're just Nike brand, nothing special about them, just enough to be able to change whenever I need it. As far as base layers, this is my hiking base layer. These are Smart Wool Merino base layers, 250 base layers, which I have a top and a bottom. I also have a sleep set, which is just what I'm going to sleep in and not do any hiking in at all, to keep the sweat off. It's also the same brand, same model and everything, just different set, different colors, so I can differentiate. For pants, I have the cool KUHL Deceptor Pants. The pants are a new addition. I have not hiked in pants before, but given the temperatures that we've had to deal with lately, I decided to roll with some pants because it's been pretty uncomfortable the past few times I've rolled with just shorts in 20-degree weather. So, moving on, I also have some wind pants here. These are the Montbell nylon wind pants, which basically weigh nothing and have been have performed very, very well in wet and windy conditions. And I can wear those over my shorts and everything, which I'm also bringing just some regular old Academy brand gym shorts for days where it's not too cold. And for my just regular shirt on normal days, this is just an Under Armour short sleeve shirt. Moving on, I also have a merino wool beanie, especially wear when I'm asleep and everything. You lose a lot of heat in the head. So I love beanies. This thing's great. And I've got a little buff that I bought. Of note, I'm not going to use this as an actual mask. I'm going to be carrying around like actual, I've got some surgical masks I'm going to be carrying around like a Ziploc bag. Mainly because a lot of places don't even let you use buffs as real masks. Moving on. This is the Mountain Hardwear Ghost Whisperers, my down layer. Not great to hike in when it's wet, but otherwise, I'm probably going to keep this thing with me the whole time. This is a really good supplementary layer, especially when it's really cold outside and the sleeping bag isn't quite enough. It's super light, and I have used this for a few years now and been very pleased with the performance. On to socks. I have 3 pairs of Darn Tough socks, which have a lifetime warranty. If they get a hole in them, I can send them back to Darn Tough and they'll give me a whole new set. This one's got the neat Appalachian Trail logo on it, so these hopefully will last me the whole trail. They're a wool blend, and they do live up to the namesake. They are Darn Tough. And these are 98-cent Walmart flip-flops, which hopefully perform well. I just bought them as camp shoes because they don't weigh anything and don't cost anything, so I'll give them a trial run. I've never really used camp shoes before, but I think it would be convenient. Shoes. I like to use trail runners. These are the Brooks Cascadias, the Brooks Cascadia 13s. They are extremely comfortable, have great arch support. They're not too heavy, and most of all, they wick moisture well. They don't stay wet. I had to wade in the creek, Hazel Creek, several times during that Smokies trip, and these did manage to dry out as the day went on. So they've performed pretty well under a lot of conditions. They've got about 300 miles on them, so I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but I'm going to ride them until the wheels fall off. And this is the Marmot Precip rain jacket, which I can use as a rain jacket or a wind shell. It's very, very well ventilated rain jacket. Has pit zips, so I can unzip my armpits and let the air flow through and not get too much condensation in, but that's performed pretty well for me in the past as well. And my gloves, these are the Winchester Protective Gear neoprene fleece-lined gloves. Moving on to electronics and miscellaneous items, we'll start with electronics. This is my headlamp. This is the Nightcore NU25. It's a 360 lumen rechargeable ultralight headlamp, complete with a red light so you're not obnoxious in the mornings to everyone else, and a nice LED strong light that is rechargeable, and it's also doesn't weigh very much, so been very pleased with that. My charger here, I'm taking the big 20,000 milliamp battery bank. This is the Anker Power Core 20,000. The only reason I'm going with the bigger, the 20,000 instead of the 10,000 is because I've decided to do Bluetooth headphones, and that takes up a lot more battery. Bluetooth headphones, because I found that they perform a lot better in rain and bad conditions than the wired ones do. A lot of times that wired connection will get mangled and stuck in the rain. It's just a disaster. So, and these are all just charging cables for the power box and my my light. I am going to be keeping a journal. I've got this new all-weather pen, which is supposed to be resistant to all of the terrible conditions we're going to be facing on the Appalachian Trail over the next few months, and this analog journal. I'm going to be keeping this and the guide in a Ziploc bag, but I was given this as a gift, this leather-bound journal, and I'm going to be keeping an analog journal to write down as the days go by. Be able to look back on that in a few years and have a good time. Remembering this is the AWOL guide. Of note, the AWOL people were very nice because I actually ordered one of these, and they ran out of the color edition, and they sent a black and white edition with an apology note saying that they ran out of ink for whatever reason they couldn't print the color. But they ended up giving me another one, so I actually ended up with 2 of these, and I'm giving one to my dad to keep up with me. So big shout out to the AWOL people. Moving on, first aid kit. I've got Band-Aids, Moleskin, Mucinex, ibuprofen, the whole deal, all the basics you need for a hike, Benadryl as well, and my toothpaste toothpaste and toothbrush as well. This I'm using for recovery. It looks like a little COVID ball. I'm just using this to rub my feet out at the end of the day, get blood flow, massage, keep myself from getting plantar fasciitis or God knows what else, because recovery is big time important, especially at the end of a long day. And my water filtration system, I still got the Sawyer filter, which has been my good friend for several years now. My biggest problem with the Sawyer filter has always been the bags. The bags that come with it aren't very good, so I went and bought a platypus. This is a 1 liter just platypus bladder, which are supposedly a lot more resilient. We'll see how they do, but I did use it. I have battle tested it a little bit, and it's performed very well for me. Moving on, I've got some Lecky collapsible Cortec trekking poles, which I need for my tent and for my style. I like using trekking poles. Make a bigger difference than you think sometimes. And I have a little REI pack towel that I hook up. Never know when you need a towel, wiping off condensation or whatever else is going on with you. Also, I have hand sanitizer. And Hyperlite mountain gear tent stakes, which are titanium and super light. The same people that made my backpack. Moving on to cooking gear, I've got a nice titanium spork that I bought from Walmart of all places, which seems to be quality. I lost my Ceta Summit spork, which is a shame, but it is what it is. That thing only cost like $5. It was great. And I have a Jetboil stove. The starter doesn't work on it anymore because it went wading with me in the Linville River, as previously mentioned, with the backpack. But the stove itself is still very functional. Works excellent. This is my fuel, which I'm probably going to get a new canister. That's almost empty. Got a lighter, supplement the starter not working. And I've got 2 pots. Both of these are Toaks titanium pots. This one is a 750 milliliter, and this is a 450 milliliter. I use this one for breakfast and coffee, and I use this one for dinner. Usually I try to avoid using this one to do anything but boil water, so I keep one from being completely gross. This one's going to be completely gross, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't like mixing my dinner with my coffee. It's kind of nasty. Ramen and coffee is not a good mix. Cap for the pot, and I'm going to carry 1.5 liters to start with for water, because water's pretty plentiful. And last but certainly not least, it is the latest and sophisticated waste disposal technology. This is the Deuce number 2. I don't know if it's the sequel to the first Deuce or if it's a play on number 2, but I'm going to be using this, obviously, to dig cat holes and dispose of my poop, because you got to poop out in the woods when you're out there for 6 months, and that's my toilet paper.